Good morning, everybody. Hey now! February the 27th, 2026. Almost the first day of spring, if we can believe this already. Unfortunately, it's a sad day here in southern Ontario, where it's seasonably nice. -6 Celsius, or about 23 degrees, Jay. From just south of downtown Toronto in Oakville, Canada. Gold Standard Radio Network live broadcast. Remember to subscribe for free. Share this far and wide. Become members of Jabroni Killers. In the video description and or pin comment. $3.99 a month it starts at to help support the channel that's there. Built for by the retail trader to keep you informed and keep corporate interference out, as well as keeping total control and ownership and the lights on, most importantly, of the Gold Standard Radio Network, right? And if we look at here the Bitcoin price, and we had that beautiful rally, when was that? What day is it today? It's Friday, so that'd have been Wednesday. We had a phenomenal rally and breakout to the upside from some lows. But we were talking about yesterday, as we were peaking above that critical $68,102 and change. Let's bring that into the full screen. Would we be able to back test and stay above that 200-day in the weekly time frame? And the short answer was no. No, we were not. And if you look at it, look what happened. Bam! Fell straight down. It came to it, traded along it for a very short amount of time right there. Let's pull out our industry created and YouTube made famous crosshairs. You can see we can sell it on it yesterday, and then bam, quickly fell below it. Got right, and then look, this is textbook right here too, at 6:55 a.m. on February the 27th. We came down, came right back up, hit one wick, rejected. Wick 2 and 3, rejected, flush. That's a textbook confirmation of a failed breakout, right? And you're breaking back down, and now you're going back to the supply zone, and the supply zone locally, ooh, it's cold, we need to put the heat on. The supply zone locally is down here, right? See all this? This is your local supply zone at $63,000, and you're coming back to that. And then this is where it gets interesting, and where it gets exciting, and where all the questions are going to be answered. When you come back down, as we break this down, and this is another free class. Just being members of Jabroni Killers, people charge for this kind of technical, short-term technical analysis, as well as market cycle and market philosophy within a trader and the masses of the retail traders. And right now we've been in the market cycle of a bear market for a year, 13, 14 months. And I told you that for free. I didn't make you pay for that. I didn't make you join behind a paywall. I'm giving you this information for free. I could wrap all this shit into a class or into a paid wall and charge you for it, and more of you would probably take it serious because it's behind a paid wall. So you would think it's, oh my God, it's behind a paid wall. It must be more important than when he just says it without charging. You know, that's another market, that's another psychology of humans. They see something behind a paywall, they think it's more important. And then if you put the classic high pressure sales tactic that's been around since the beginning of sales, then you wrap it around with only 100 people can get in. Seats are limited, supply running out, right? You make it finite, make them feel like there's not enough of it, and then they'll buy it for the same garbage, not garbage, but the same stuff that I'm telling you for free. But if I wrapped it up in a fancy bowl behind a paid wall and made it seem like it was finite and limited and not enough for everybody, bam, I would have 100 people paying $50 a month. But the Gold Standard's not doing that, right? And here's what we're talking about. That's where we're going. If you break that, this thing that the Gold Standard's been talking about, you're coming right down there. Mark my words, this is where it gets interesting. If this confirms the breakdown like it has short term, can't hold this area right here, right? Can't, you fucker. Excuse me, French. When we're on the live though, we got some bad language, right? Because we're on day 57 in a row, Jay. This is day 57 in a row that I've woken up at 5 a.m., got out of the hotel at 6:40 a.m. and went to work and didn't get back to the hotel until 6 at night. This is day number 56 in a row. Not many people have done that or can do that or say they've done that, right? If you're working from home, that's different. I've been doing the Facebook online every day for years too. That's completely different than getting up, leaving the home before the sun gets up, being gone for 11 or 12 hours a day, and doing it for 56 days in a row. And by the time I get home and take a day off, it'll be 63 days in a row. New Year's Day was the last day we didn't work. New Year's Day, we worked the last 30 days of February, January, all of February into March before we take a few days off. Just insane. But that line I just drew, that when you come back down to there, if you can't hold that supply zone right there, you're retesting that wick and you're not going to hold it. There could be some trading, but you're going to come way down to where we've been talking about, a short-term target of 51,285. And that's when things really start to get interesting with all these quasi-Bitcoin treasury companies and Ethereum. With a little Solana they started buying, but mass Ethereum they started doing, especially with Ethereum now being that low. When they start getting margin called, when they start facing liquidity problems and big things start to happen, where lenders of these businesses that they mortgage their futures, that Bitcoin could only go up because it doesn't pay a yield, right? These Grant Cardones, these micro strategies, and these thousands of companies that went in, mostly above 90 or 100,000. Grant Cardone buys Bitcoin at 98,000, 100,000, or you know what I mean? So it's going to get quite interesting. Ethereum, I think, on this back test, that line that we drew before it had a breakout, remember the gold standard gave you another free technical short-term class. We drew this breakout line the night before when the price was there, right? And we showed you where you could go up would be to the top of that, and it did. And now we're coming back, and now we're going to back test that green line. And if we can't hold that green descending line to the breakout, we're going to come quickly back down for a third hit on the top part of this blue support and resistance zone. And if it does that, I'm warning you at the gold standard that the price is going to come tumbling down very, very fast, ferociously, like coming off of a cliff into a volcano, right? It's like you're taking the steps up, a little bit up, and then it comes down a little bit and a little bit up. But then when you go down, you take the elevator, the floor, you flop, and you hear that smack of the human flesh on the concrete jumping out of a Sears tower, right? And that's where you would go, the $1,036. Now it's getting late, 7 a.m. I'm about to pull into work. The XRP, this secondary pump was noticeably less than that first swing pump that we had from swing high to swing low, from when we made this short-term bottom. As you know, I have a beautiful sunrise. That's a gorgeous sunrise with the oranges and the clouds breaking through. Oh, that's a postcard. I wish I could get a picture of that. That swing low to swing high, see that right there? And that's how you know you're really going into spring in late February, about to be the first day of March. The sun's is way above the skyline at 7 a.m. It used to take till 8 something to come up. I used to spend the first hour of my day. That's a big sun too this morning. I'm gonna have to get a picture of that. But you can see it's noticeably less, right? Noticeably less on that pump, on this return pump that we just had. And now we're back at that 200-day, and all these coins are roughly in the same area on the 200-day moving averages in the weekly time frame. And we're below it, and if we can't get back above it and we can confirm below it, we're going to do the same thing as the Bitcoin price. We're going to take out these lows. We're going to challenge these, and besides brief pumps, we're most likely not going to be able to hold them. And that's one spot there, and that's another spot there, right? You see that? That's what we're looking at. We're going to come down to these local supply / otherwise known as liquidity zones. They just build liquidity at the upside to tap to use it on the downside, right? And then the other way around. But those two areas, we're going to come back down to if the buyers don't come in and we don't get back above that 141, another free short-term technical lesson, and we would come straight down to that 89 cents. And that's just above a major target that we have of 70 cents here towards capitulation, right? That dreaded support resistance box that was a support and resistance box for years, right? Let's zoom back out on that. Let's zoom in on that as we pull in at 7:02 a.m. with a line of trucks. Remember that blue support resistance box that went from about 54, 55 cents up to about the 69 cents? That's still there, and that was a major resistance box for about 2 years. And I think we have a high probability that we could be going back down there, because just that's what these coins do. And I think this is coming back down to a full lateral move to lower support just above the base of the previous bear market that took place. And here's another free lesson that took place right here. That was your bear market last time after the COVID hysteria, which was a step up from the bear market right here after where everybody started to learn about XRP when you blew up in January, I believe, 2018, when you had your blow off top, I believe that was. And crypto had the 2017 Bitcoin rally from a few $100s to 20,000 to get it into the mainstream media, which got it onto the social media, which brought it into the YouTube people and the channels on crypto that were early people that were smart and created a channel based on this, and got all of you, the retail traders, to become enriched, enlightened, and fanboys of a lot of these channels, because they fed you emotionally through psychology what you needed to hear at the time you wanted to hear it in order to do what you wanted to do. And you became fanboys of these people and you enriched them, and it was a good business plan for them. But this, I believe, is going to be another one, the third time now, which is really more like the fifth time, but you have to go back to when this coin was very, very minute. And by the time you got to 338, that was literally like a million-x move, right? Or a 10,000x move. But I think you might be building a new base down in here this time on this bear market right there, right? You had a step up where you were here, right? You see that? Then you consolidated here on the next bear market. I think this is where you consolidate on this bear market, and that's going to be the new supply zone right there for the next breakout. And the next breakout should bring you up to about $6 in the next bull market, maybe $7, right? And that's your next play. And that's a free thing the gold standard gave you. You should be joining Jabroni Killers with some of these people asking some of these farcical, outlandish, obscene questions. And before I let you go, we'll look at some of these obscene questions on some of these nonsensical coins that for some reason people still want to buy. It doesn't make any sense. But I haven't had many comments. You telling me the retail trader loved the hype? Yep, and they do love the hype. Up some real money when it goes down. We're all going to make some real money. Appreciate XRP Ripper's been here for a while. Chainlink, we went over Chainlink the other day. I fucked up the cover picture. What do you think about IOTA? We talked about that. Thank you for your hard work, brother. Insight. Quant, we talked about Quant, but we'll look at that later on again. Coins, target price. I just wanted to see your thoughts on the coin, maybe someday a target. All right, we'll give you a target price on that. And that's about it. There hasn't been any new comments. Join Jabroni Killers. I've noticed a few of you, Tara and Luna and Sheba and Richard 05. It's good that you're a Jabroni Killer member, because you should never be putting your money in Sheba or Tara Luna. Those are garbage coins. Garbage. They're PLG. Sorry, Trading with Jay. I thought I seen that. PLG, we'll look at that. That's a metal company. We'll look at that in our next update. Become members of Jabroni Killers. I got to let you go. I got to get into work. Stick with the gold standard. We're giving you all this for free. We're giving you all this not behind a paid wall, because we care about the retail trader. We care about the audience, and we care about you. J Gold Standard Radio Network.